Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we are playing some more Pauper, of course. We are playing Dimir Pactdoll Affinity. This is a deck that I hadn't really gotten around to. People have been playing it a little bit a couple months ago when Pactdoll first came out, and then, just in general, people have been playing it. And then, I guess with Cryogen Relic coming out, it saw a little bit of a resurgence because of Abjure, which we're doing as well, which is just a blue mana to counter any spell, but you have to sacrifice a blue permanent to do so. And then on stream the other day, somebody suggested that I play it. I can't remember who that was, I apologize, but I figured we would give it a go. And so we're playing it today. So I couldn't find an exact list that looked like what I wanted to play, and so I kind of just threw one together. So we are basically Dimir Affinity. So for our mana base, of course, we have all the bridges and the mirrored inlands that we can, but since we're only two colors instead of a lot of the three-color Affinity decks, we are forced to play Darksteel Citadel, which could be a little bit awkward because we have quite a few, cheap cards with intensive pips, a lot of one drops, and we have Snacker, which is double blue and black. So ideally, the Darksteel Citadel won't be too bad, but we need to maximize the number of artifact lands we have, and we have a one of Island and Swamp. But for our Affinity payoffs, we of course are playing the big three: Refurbished Familiar, Thoughtcast, and Mere Enforcer, so that we can draw a bunch of cards, we can make our opponent discard cards, attack in with a flyer, and just have a free 4/4. And then since we are playing Pactdoll, obviously, we are doing three of these. You could play more. I think you can get flooded with them, and they don't. It's the most expensive card in the deck because they don't get cost reduced. So we're just doing three, and I'm running a one of Kenku Artificer, which is a card that used to see a lot of play in Grixis Affinity. Sometimes still does, but sees a little bit less play now. But I think this type of list is the one where you want it, because not only is it, with Darksteel Citadels, you still have 8 indestructible lands, even if you don't have as many bridges, but also it's a blue creature that you really don't care about sacrificing once it's on the field, which obviously you can sacrifice to your Fanatical Offerings, your Reckoner's Bargains, but also it counts for your Abjure. For that reason, maybe we want to play more Kenkus here, because other than this, the only blue creatures, or rather the blue permanents that we have to sacrifice to the Abjure is Cryogen Relic, which is a great one. Hard Evidence we're kind of forced to play so that we have something to sacrifice to the Abjure. We get that Crab, which we can sacrifice, and then we do have Snackers as well. So we have a total of 13 blue permanents that we can sacrifice to the Abjure. Hopefully that will be plenty. And the Snacker, unlike a lot of other decks, we don't actually have ways to discard it. We are going to be hard casting the Sneaky Snacker, unlike Madness or even like some of the Dimir control decks. But once we have it on the field and then it dies or whatever, we can use it to cast our Abjure, and then also we have a bunch of ways to bring it back because we can just draw a bunch of cards through our Fanatical Offerings, Reckoner's Bargains, Thoughtcasts, and even our Nihil Spellbombs, Blood Fountains, and Hard Evidences can all draw us one card as well. So if we pair a couple of those up, and Cryogen Relic also draws us 2 cards if we play it and sacrifice it right away. So a little more scattered rundown of my deck than usual. We also, of course, have some cast downs because we just want some decent removal, and that's pretty much the deck. So in our sideboard, this sideboard was mostly ripped from our a list that I found online, but I made a couple of changes. And Cola Cacao is raiding with a party of 5. We are just getting started here, so perfect timing. I hope your stream went well. Were you playing more elves or more brews, or what were you working on today? But for our sideboard, we have a couple Steel Sabotage and Annuls for those affinity or just artifact or enchantment based opponents. Blue Blasts for the red opponents, Arms of Hadar for the go wide, Duress, and a couple more spell bombs if we go up against a graveyard deck. I'm realizing we don't have a Bajuga Bog or anything in our main deck, which might be fine. We have a lot of untapped lands, which can be very beneficial for us, but it's possible that the list could definitely use a little bit of tuning. Like I said, I couldn't find an exact list that I wanted to copy, so we just kind of threw something together. But let's just take this into a league and see how we do. This is going to be my first time running this, or really any Dimir Affinity list. But we do have, I have a lot of experience with Grixis and Esper and all these other Affinity lists. So 16 characters long, subscribed with Prime. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. Getting the stream off to a good start with a raid and a sub. And we were against Marzaboy. I know they've been playing Black Sack recently. They jumped in the Discord. So it'll be interesting to see if we're up against that. We have no blue mana, which is kind of annoying, but we do have double refurb, and then we have card draw to hopefully find that blue mana. So I think we're going to keep this one for sure. Play a Vault and Pass. And there's a Shambling Gas. Looks like we are, in fact, going to be against Black Sack. I'm going to play a refurb here, just because it's really the only thing to play. I could hold up a cast down or like a bargain for a land, but that's not going to happen. The refurb could just die to the Shambling Ghast, which could be a little annoying. I would rather that doesn't happen, but I don't think we're not playing it there. They have a Carrion Feeder, so depending on what else they have, they should probably attack for one, because I'm not going to block. Well, I could block. That gives them a treasure, which is probably better for them than us taking 1 damage here. So yeah, we're not going to block. If they want to sacrifice this to pick off the refurb, that's fine. Can't do much about it. And they do immediately after getting the damage done. So that means no beetle or anything, which is pretty nice. Nothing else for them. Okay. Well, I have a cast down for that. Bridge is pretty nice. So I could play the refurb for 1 mana, but then I can't play anything else anyway. So I think we just hold up the cast down. I could use it right now, but since they have 1 mana up, chances they have a Village Rites or something are kind of high, in my opinion. Plus, it's possible that we can get them to bait using something else. Like now, if they have a stamina, maybe they'll go for it, and then we can cast down the Carrion Feeder in response. I think we'll take 2 damage here. Oh, okay. Well, they're just going aggressive, sacking the Shambler right away. We'll take 3 here. Okay. I was kind of trying to see if they would sack the Squirrel as well. We are going to cast down the Carrion Feeder. I did take 3 damage when I didn't need to, but this way, if they had like a Village Rites, it would happen in their end step. They wouldn't be able to draw cards and play more on that turn, so I think that was right. And now we just have Ryojin and Refurb, probably. This hopefully hits us a land. Oh, not bad at all. I could just hold up one of these then. Cryogen is not... Yeah, let's just be mana efficient. Cryogen is not in this deck. Obviously, we don't have Skyfishers and Glinthawks, so its purpose in the deck is not to be like bounced a bunch, so we have no qualms just sacrificing it right away to draw some more cards. It's basically just an Ichor Wellspring with the stun effect as well as being a blue spell for our Abjure. They did Conviction their Squirrel, so they drew some cards, but they don't have a lot going for them at the moment. We will offering the Relic here to keep our affinity count high, and we'd rather gain more life with this bargain later off of a Familiar or an Enforcer or something. There's a Pactdoll Terror. Okay, so I could Pactdoll, then Seat, then Hard Evidence. That gives us a blocker and gains us the most life off this Pactdoll. I think that seems good. Obviously, we want to play the land after we have the Pactdoll down because it pings, which means we're not going to be able to play the refurb this turn, but I actually just kind of like having the Hard Evidence as a chump blocker here. Plus, it still pings because of the clue we get. So we will pass to them. We don't have the most removal in our deck, so they could come back from this, but they are falling behind in that they just haven't had a lot of speed or anything so far. Conviction the Shambling Ghast right away. There's a Sage. We're also going to get the Spell Bomb down, which isn't the best against them, but it will turn off any Unearths or Staminas that they get. And we get a Kenku, which they're not probably going to have a way to deal with the bridge. I guess they could have an Accursed Marauder, so that could work. Let's play a Spell Bomb. 1, 2. I think I'm just going to play the Kenku on... I guess I should have... I was using the colorless mana, of course, for our Spell Bomb, because that kind of makes sense, but I'd actually rather have the Indestructible Bridge, or Indestructible Land be the one that doesn't tap for any colored mana. So I should have tapped that slightly differently. Doesn't seem to matter. They concede right away. Yeah, they're not going to have a great job getting rid of that. So we get Arms of Hadar. Is pretty much it. Snackers and Hard Evidence are good as chump blockers. Kenku looked pretty good there. Of course, they might bring in some more Accursed Marauders for that. Cast Downs and Abjures. Very good. The spell bombs do have some use, as mentioned, but that might just be the cut. I don't see anything else I'd rather cut. Like Blood Fountains are kind of late game. Their goal is going to be to win before we get to a Blood Fountain, but if they don't, then this rebuying a couple refurbs or something could just be game ending. I think this is probably fine. No land is not going to be keepable. Same as the last one. And no blue mana, but I think we're going to keep this one. And no blue mana, all blue spells. Maybe this is mulligan, but too late. We're going to get rid of the Abjure and the Hard Evidence. Actually, maybe we just get rid of one of these lands since we need a blue land anyway. We're already hoping to draw a land, then that's 4. We don't need that many. So maybe Hard Evidence, but that's a chump blocker, and the Swamp. I recently put together Mono Black Sack in paper by disassembling my homebrew zombie deck to play with a friend. I also bought your guide, and after several matches against different top-tier decks, I was really surprised by the power of the deck. While Gem Palm Polluter is sadly a trap, an engine I had in my zombie deck was Nameless Inversion in combination with Nested Shambler and Ghoul Caller's Chant, which was really nice. Do you think some number of Nameless Inversion Chant might be viable? That's a good question. I will say that you're not the first person to mention those as possibilities. I think I've tested Nameless Inversion. I think it's kind of cute because it can be a removal spell against some creatures, and then also it combos with your Shambler to just give you 3 guys, or 4 guys total, I guess. But it's 2 mana, which is really awkward in the deck. You only want a couple 2 mana spells, and they have to be like, the only 2 mana spells that I play in my decks are basically game altering. Bloodthorn Vampire in Rite of Consumption can just win the game, or like a Cursed Marauder Mesmeric Fiend can swing things a lot. Oh, I didn't even realize my opponent, I guess they just mulliganed once, but they are on 1 land with no card draw. This could give us a chance to get back in, but we really need a blue land here. So I did try Nameless Inversion. It felt endlessly clunky. I don't know if I ever got off the combo, and I will say 2 mana to remove not everything in the format is just really bad. If it's 1 mana, I don't mind it being like a bolt and not killing everything, but if it's 2 mana and you could be playing a cast down, it's really unfortunate to not be able to remove anything. So I don't like Nameless Inversion. Chant, I don't actually know if I've tried. I know a lot of people have, and I don't hate it. But you generally do need to skew your deck a little bit more to have, we'll just take this, to have more zombies. Because like my stock list, for example, Carrion Feeder's a zombie, so that's a good one to bring back. They're going to Conviction the Link Breaker here in attacks, I guess, to see what they draw and see if they want to sack the Mercenary to deal an extra damage. Maybe that's fine. So Carrion Feeder's a zombie, Shambling Ghast, Nested Shambler, and a Cursed Marauder are all zombies. So there's a fair number of them, but you obviously want to kind of increase the number of Shambling Ghasts, maybe you want to increase the number of Cursed Marauders. I don't hate it, but if it gets back just a single creature, which I think is like, it's not going to happen every time, but it's relatively often that it's only going to get back 1 creature, then the 1 mana you spend on it that you're over like an Unearth, which could just bring the creature back right away, can be very detrimental. So the value is there. It's more like a Corrupted Conviction in that way, in that you're getting 2 cards for 1. But if you ever only get 1 card, it's just a really bad Unearth, especially if you're using it on a Cursed Marauder or a Mesmeric Fiend, where it's a 2 mana creature you're getting back, or a Vampire for that reason too. 1 mana for Unearth is so much better than 2 or 3 mana to get 1 creature back. The value's decent, but I don't know. It's one that I had plans to try out, and I think I just never got around to. So I don't think it's necessarily terrible, but I'm not sure it would be my favorite either. Okay. I think I'm just playing a Relic here. I could play a Snacker, which is a good chump blocker, but I kind of want to play the Relic to get our Enforcer down next turn for cheaper, and then I can also hold up Abjure. I guess if I top deck a Blood Fountain here, I can just get down a Mirror Enforcer, which is kind of cool. Vault is not terrible. I would have preferred another blue land, though. We're not going to attack. We're just trying to survive. As long as we do and we kill their creatures, we're going to win. We are nowhere near racing. Then again, if they just pick this off the Shambling Ghast, I can't block. But I'm also forcing them to do that. If I had attacked, then they wouldn't have to do that to get in. Stamina on the Ghast. Okay. It's not terrible, because it kills this, and then if I get another refurb or something, I can kill another one. But it's also, they're at 1 card. This comes back. It's only 1 more creature to sacrifice. So they're just not getting in for that much damage. That this Mirror Enforcer can definitely block pretty nicely. So they're getting in for 4. There's a Mist Vault Bridge. So I can play that, play an Enforcer for 2, and then hold up Abjure. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Otherwise, I could play the Snacker, but I'm not holding up Abjure. I could have played Snacker and Mirror Enforcer if I played the Vault. That could have been okay, actually. Kind of like holding up the counter spell, though. Dimir Affinity for real this time. Indeed. I figured, let's make it official. Do I want to counter a Link Breaker? They do want fodder here pretty badly, so this isn't a bad one to counter. We draw a card off the Relic. Then they can't attack with this Feeder. Well, they could Mercenary onto it, and then if I block, they sack both of these to trade. That's fine. Or if they attack with this one, they could sack, ping this down. I think we do want to counter their fodder at this moment. If they've been if they've been sandbagging some other really good card, maybe this is not great, but I think when they already have 2 growers on the field, fodder's definitely what you want to go after usually, and refurb's a good draw. They attack with everything. Okay. So if I block here, ping, ping, it looks like I could eat this guy. I don't think I'm at risk of dying here. If I block here, I'm taking 3, 4, 5. They would have to have a ton. I think we're blocking this carrion feeder. If they have like a stamina, that's fine. They still have to like sack a bunch of stuff for it, or they just sack it to the other one. That's also fine. So get in for 4. We're at 10 and they pass. I'm okay with that trade, especially because we get to eat their last card here. In response, they will sacrifice the Shamblagast. If they had kept it, they could have killed. Oh, they're going to cast the thing. Okay, it's a Reaping the Graves. Gotcha. That makes sense. Yep. Yeah, I realized right as I haven't played against Reaping the Graves in a while. I've heard and seen that it's started to come back, but this is the first time it's been on the stack in a game of mine for a while. Okay, yeah, so they Reaping for the Ghast and the Ghast twice, or they had 2 Ghasts. No, Nezumi Linkbreaker and a Ghast. I guess I just missed that. Okay, so they get to discard one of these. Bogle's deck when? I played Bogle's on the channel like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I didn't do it on stream, but there's a video of it. So if you want to see some Bogles play, some exceptional Bogles play from a person who definitely knows how to play the deck really well, go ahead and check that out. I could leave back Enforcer, in which case they can't attack with the feeder as well. They did keep the Shamblagast, which could pick off one of these. So I could go for the race at this point. If I don't, and I try to block with everything, they can Shamblagast, pick this off. It's a 5/5, then a 6/6. They have one more thing, then I can't really block it very effectively, so I think we'll just attack here. And there's the Ghast. Village Rites. It's a pretty good draw from them. Picking off the Snacker is interesting, because that's the one that comes back if I choose not to block this refurb. There's a Link Breaker. They attack with this. They could deal 7. They say should have pumped with the mercenary token. I was going to comment that if they're not going to attack with this, they should pump. Technically, they can leave it back to block the Mere Enforcer, so if they wanted an extra blocker, that's fine, but they already have the Link Breaker to do so, to chump, so they probably didn't want to do that. I think I'm just going to take it. They can go a little more in on it if they want, but I'd rather keep my guys around for if I get like a Reckoner's Bargain or Fanatical or whatever. Thoughtcast is a good draw. Let's see what that yields. Well, a Snacker's back, also Abjure and a Cryogen. Very nice for us. We can tap down the feeder if I want, although then I don't have the Abjure off of this. I could have it off the Snacker. That's probably right, though. Yeah, let's attack. Or actually, I don't have blue mana, so I wouldn't have the Abjure up at all, actually. They do block with the Link Breaker, and forget to sacrifice. They did say they jumped into the Discord I mentioned just a couple of days ago, so they just might not have all the things nailed down, the habits, and that's totally fine. So, yeah, I could keep this tapped. Then I probably don't die unless they get a Right of Consumption. Yeah, they said they're just having a tough time managing everything. All right, I can hold up Abjure. Then I probably don't die, but I have to chump with the Mere Enforcer, which I don't really like. So I think we will do this. And if I die to, I shouldn't have played the Vault, and then I could play the Bridge. But that's okay. If I die to a Right of Consumption, that's fine. I can accept that. There's a Beetle. That would have been a decent one to Abjure. Shambler with double Mercenaries, decent. Although if they go all in on this, I have 12 damage. That's not going to be lethal unless I find like a Pactdoll. And they have a Beetle to block. Yeah, if they had done Beetle and I didn't counter it, and then I countered the Nested Shambler, that would have been pretty decent. Blood Fountain's pretty nice. Currently we only have a refurb in the graveyard, but we're probably about to chump with a couple guys. Let's just get rid of this bridge. Another Relic. Okay. I could keep this tapped again, but I think this might be the turn to just Cryogen and hold up the Abjure. Then they attack. I can chump a couple of them. Do I want to attack is the question, and if so, with what? I kind of want to lose the refurb because then I can Blood Fountain them both back for more card advantage and leave back 2 Enforcers to rival this Beetle, because it could be like a 7/7, but I could maybe trade. So I guess I could get in with the Snacker. All right, let's play a Relic. Leave up an extra blue in case I get Hard Evidence. We don't get a land. So yeah, funnily enough, I think Snacker's the one I don't want to chump with at this moment. We'll just throw Refurb in front of the Carrion Feeder, Enforcers in front of the Beetle, and if they have anything wonky, we have the Abjure. I'm certainly happy with the trade of like losing this and then one of these for a Beetle. They just sacrifice the Beetle. Okay, well I like that too. I will just lose the Refurb then. That's also a pretty good trade, and they just passed end step. Well, I think then I'm gonna Blood Fountain, so I think we're just going to tap down the Carrion Feeder with the Relic, keep that tapped, and then I have get back 2 refurbs, take their last card, draw another one. I can start attacking with enforcers, although I need to leave back some blockers for the 1/1s. But we are able to take the match and right back into the next one. I played against Vikazin last night, and they were on, what were they on? A Dimir Fairies list. That was a little interesting. We have double Cryogen here. We need black mana, but I think we're going to keep it. So they could be on something different, but last night it was Fairies. All right, back to red. I know they play a lot of red as well. So a bunch of Cryogens maybe doesn't look as good against the red opponent here. We can crack a Cryogen to keep this tapped. Player of Bridge. That's not terrible. If we can survive long enough, Pactdoll can start gaining us life. Artificer can be a permanent blocker. Bargain is good. So we have a lot of good cards in hand, as long as we don't just get steamrolled. Tomb Raider suggests it's probably Red Rally. Their Red Rally also suggests it's probably Red Rally. Snacker, yeah, all we have to do is this Cryogen. So let's... I could play another one, but I'd rather not take the 2 damage here. So we'll do that. We have plenty of card draw. I just need to not die, which is looking tough. We have an Epicure and another Rally. Not a Bushwhacker, but still pretty bad. Spell Bomb. I mean, Artificer is only 1 blocker until this untaps. That's going to be way too slow. I could Snacker, but I have nothing else. That's not very good. They still have 3 cards in hand. I think we're probably just dead, but I think our best bet is like drawing to something else. More lands and some other stuff. Vault of Whispers. We have Abjure, but then we can't play anything else. They have 7 damage on board. So I don't think an Abjure is going to save us. Bargain for 1 life isn't going to do it. All right, we're going to play a Snacker. I have 1 blocker, so we go to we take 5 damage. And if they have no way to deal us 5 damage, maybe we could survive next turn. That seems unlikely, though. Bushwhacker is definitely going to do it. Very strong start from them. We get the Arms of Hadars, and we get the Blue Blasts. Spell Bomb is no good. Cast Down is not very good. It's really slow. Hard Evidence would have been nice. Kenku is decent, although they're going to bring in a bunch of artifact hate, probably Cast into the Fire, which makes Kenku kind of a liability at this point. I think maybe we just do this. All right, on the play, 1 lander, not going to do it. Woohoo, finally caught you live. I'm glad you're here. Enjoy the stream. This hand's not very good either. We have no black mana, otherwise it'd be pretty decent. These Citadels definitely screwing us up a bit. I do have a Blue Blast, but that's it. I think we got a mulligan. At least we have our colors here. Abjure's no good, and I think Pactdoll is, like, gains us life and is nice, but it's 4 mana. Mirror Enforcer, we have to get things for it to be cheaper, but then it gains us more life with the bargain, so I think we're going to do that. Is this Dimir Affinity? Yes, it is. Dimir Pactdoll Affinity with Abjure and Sneaky Snacker. So we got some spicy stuff. There's a Clockwork Percussionist. We get our Pactdoll right back. Play Sea to the Synod. Noise. It certainly is. First time playing Dimir Affinity, although I've played a lot of the other affinities. There's a Tomb Raider, 3 damage at us. Hard Evidence is not a terrible draw here. It would have been nice 2 turns ago to absorb a whole bunch of damage, and they have the Red Blast. That's pretty annoying. Usually Hard Evidence is not the card I would care too much about getting Red Blasted, but it's pretty bad here, I will admit. And then they have a route. Okay, I mean, maybe we need some more cards to fight this off. This does not feel like a great match for us. 1 Blue Blast takes 1 of these out. We're taking 5 again. I didn't bargain because getting rid of a land is kind of the last thing you want, but what else am I going to do? There's another Vault. I guess we'll hold up a Blue Blast against like a Bushwhacker. There's a Synth into a Mountain. Swing for 1,000,000 and our turn. I don't think there's anything that matters what we do. All right, feels like we should probably, I mean, I said at the beginning of the stream, I just kind of threw this list together because I couldn't find one that I really liked. So it's possible I'm missing some key cards to survive a match like that. It feels like, I mean, obviously, Grixis is going to have a better chance dealing with the go-wide strategies with Krarks, but because we're only 2 colors, we should have more consistency and fewer mulligans, and be able to play cards earlier because we have a lot more untapped lands, and none of that felt very true, which is a little annoying, but that's okay. All right, we have 1 lander on the play. I kind of like this hand otherwise. We have a card draw and removal, but 1 tap land is not going to cut it. I did copy the amount of lands from a list that I found, a 5-0 list that I found, and it was 18 lands. So it's possible we're just playing too few. That did feel a little bit low to me, and that seems to be the case. So potentially we should just go up in the number of lands a little bit. I guess we'll keep this one, get rid of the Pactdoll on one of these guys, and we're passing. Maybe we're against the Mirror, or just Grixis or Esper or something. They play a Refurb, discard this Enforcer. Okay. Well, if we have a fast league, maybe I can just Add some more lands for the second league. They swing for 2. We get a seat, which I guess allows us to crack this clue for a cryogen. Your luck has been abysmal lately. I'm glad someone's noticed. I mean, again, for this one, maybe we're just running too few lands. But in general, I have felt like my luck has been pretty rough. I guess we're going to refurb and cryogen. I could cast down, but I can't do anything else then. Refurb lets me trade here. I can chump here. Discard a Galvanic. When they have an aggressive start, they've got a couple other pretty good cards then. Cast down and a bargain. Those are the good ones then. I'll block. We go to 10. Abjure. So I could cast one of these down. Take in 6. And I have an Abjure. Yeah, I guess that's what we got. Yep, they have the bargain. Should have done this in their upkeep. So they would have to spend some of their own mana. I got lazy with it. Attack for 6. Galvanic Blast. We'll Abjure. I mean, I guess we're still alive. They have a removal spell for this, I die, but I'm pretty close to conceding anyway. But I guess I can chump the Enforcer with the Snacker, Fanatical Offering, maybe find something else. They cast an Offering, another Enforcer, draw 2, cast down, Snacker, Bridge. I can't deal with all 3 of these, so we're gonna die. We do get Annul, Steel Sabotage, and Duresses. Hard Evidence does not seem very good. It just chumps to the Mirror Enforcers, that's pretty much it. Kenku, they're probably going to have some Cast into the Fires to bring in. Feels bad. Next game, you're going to have better luck. It's all coming up Marsh. Ideally. Spellbomb is good against them. I guess I might cut all the hard evidences. But if we do, I feel like I have to go down Abjures, because then we only have like 8 ways to use it. I might just get rid of all the Abjures, bring in a Spellbomb, actually. This doesn't feel like a match where that's super effective anyway. And we have a Null and Sabotage for them instead. Sabotage. Looking forward to that card being printed. Beb for munitions / blast. Yeah, I think there's some merit to that. I don't care too much about munitions. I mean, having an out to it is reasonable, so I don't necessarily hate bringing in 1. But we also do already have a Null and Duress. Obviously, once it's on the field, we need a Blue Blast, but it can pick off Snacker and Refurb, but it doesn't really kill the other guys we have very efficiently. It can go to our face, but ideally, that won't be the end of the world. And I guess if they bring in red blasts, it's decent for that, or Galvanic Blasts. But they're going to, like, Krarks aren't great. I might do the 1, just so we have an answer to a resolved munitions in case we need to. So it's not a terrible idea, but I don't think that the red cards in general are the scariest. I guess if they do Cast into the Fires, that's another one that it would be good for. So maybe I should bring in a couple for that. We're going to keep this one. We have turn 2 Blood Fountain Thoughtcast, which is decent. Also just have some card draw here. They mulligan to 6. We keep a decent 2-land hand. They just have a Great Furnace. Okay. So I was going to go Blood Fountain Thoughtcast. It's possible I should have just played the Bridge here, because maybe I want to hold up Steel Sabotage. If they mulliganed and then they start with a Great Furnace, it means that they might not have all the colors they need, so it's possible just holding up a Sabotage for like a Wellspring could be pretty decent. Yeah, I think maybe just, or even if they have like a Refurb, I think holding this up is probably the answer. So maybe I probably should have just played the Bridge, because there's no reason I needed to play the Blood Fountain this turn if I wasn't going to go for the Thoughtcast. Well, there's a Bridge. I could also just bounce this Bridge to set them back a turn. I don't hate it, but I also don't think this is like a match where tempo matters as much. So probably I just hold up the Sabotage for an actual counterspell. And here, since I can hold up Reckoner's Bargain and Sabotage, I'm going to do that over just playing the Thoughtcast and tapping out of either of those. There's a Refurb. That's good enough to counter, I think. They def have the Red Blast. Yeah, that's also what I've been thinking. If they Red Blast this, that's not the end of the world. Then our Thoughtcast or Cryogen resolves. Although we do have to discard. Pretty good card here. Probably going to be a bargain, but... And another Refurb. Well, that's just brutal. Could make them use it to stop the bounce and get Thoughtcast through. Yeah. Well, if I really wanted to get the Thoughtcast through for that reason, like I would have just bounced the Great Furnace. Would have forced the issue. But I don't think that was super necessary. This is pretty annoying, but we could play Thoughtcast and Cryogen next turn, so I could do Thoughtcast and Bargain, but I'm not gaining life. I'd rather just the Relic. We get a Snacker. I said we had no way to discard the Snacker, but it's not 100% true with this Blood token. So I could get some value by discarding the Snackers with the Blood and then playing like a Relic or something. I think that's decent, actually. We get a Vault, so I can Cryogen plus Thoughtcast. Although I could hold the Thoughtcast for bringing back the Snacker again later, I think it's probably better to just use our mana. So I'm going to do this. We get a Duress. So I could Duress them, or I could cry out Relic, which is more efficient, but I kind of think that I'd like to Duress before they maybe put down like a Blood Fountain, a Munitions, or anything like that that could be pretty annoying. One Galvanic Blast, I guess, is fine. They have a Gorilla Shaman, though. That's going to be annoying. Taking out our Vaults of Whispers. Well, yeah, Gorilla Shaman, I said Cast of the Fire, but Gorilla Shaman I have seen coming back into the meta a little bit. That's another reason to bring in more Blue Blasts, so I probably will at this point. Bring in a couple more. Basic Swamp's not a terrible card to draw in this position. Also, I can just hold up Snacker to block now. I don't think we're in a bad spot by any means. I could play a Spell Bomb. They could blow it up with the Gorilla Shaman, but they're probably going to blow that up or the Blood Fountain at some point anyway. But I can't use the Blood Fountain, so... And I don't have anything to get with the Blood Fountain, so it's going to be the Spell Bomb first. I'm going to hold this. I mean, they do have to spend 3 mana to blow up the Blood Fountain, so maybe they won't be able to do anything else, or maybe they'll want to do something else instead of it. But they just go for it. Play a Bridge and an Enforcer. They're going to swing. If I get a land here, I can like double Cryogen to bring back the Snacker, which would be pretty good. Steel Sabotage. Well, I'm going to play a Relic. If they want to spend 5 mana to crack these for us, that's fine. Ooh, and we get a Refurb. Would love a card draw here. And that gets us our Snacker back. That's pretty nice. Darksteel Citadel is also a decent draw. I could throw out the Spell Bomb, but that they can blow up, and I couldn't draw a card off of, so I think we're going to wait until we can definitively do that. Top deck of Thoughtcast is pretty decent. Nice turn. Yeah, that was a good one for us for sure. I wish I was able to leave up the blue mana, but I had to use the mana on the Refurb, get a Wellspring down, and cast down the Familiar, so they get in for 7. Okay, another Citadel, so I can tap down something here. Obviously, the Dimir Enforcer deals the most damage, and then I could trade these, so that's probably the one to do. But I could also, like, Steel Sabotage to bounce. But yeah, I think we'll keep this tapped, draw a card, another Snacker. If I play a Snacker, I don't hold up Sabotage. Plus, it's, like, the chances they attack with both of these are pretty low, so there's not much to block anyway. I think I'm just going to play the Spell Bomb, so I can hold that up in case they get Blood Fountain, or I could just use it right away. Plus, we get to hold up our Steel Sabotage this way, which probably should just use on a Wellspring. It's expensive, but they could start popping them with like Gorilla Shamans if they need. What else am I holding this for? Obviously, another Refurb or a Mirror Enforcer is pretty good, but if they just set more artifacts on the field, I feel like that's bad for us. And it means I don't have to hold up the blue anymore. They Gorilla Shaman the Spell Bomb. Well, we will exile their graveyard in response, pay the black, draw a card, another Snacker. Okay. Don't have the mana to play both of these currently. Cast down is good, so I can Snacker and cast down. Probably just the Mirror Enforcer. Currently, I don't care about the Gorilla Shaman, but is that going to be true later? If we get a Blood Fountain, I could use it right away, so not a big deal. Same with the Spell Bomb. We have enough lands. It's not the end of the world if they destroy more lands. So yeah, I think we'll do this, and we'll do it while they don't have a bargain up. And I'm just going to leave these back. They swing with both. That tells me they probably just got a Spell Bomb, so they want us to block so they can exile them both. So I think I'll just block with 1, take 1 damage. Okay, or they got a Blood Fountain and they wanted to bring back some creatures. Okay, I guess I made the wrong call there. They're making me discard a Snacker, so that's not the end of the world, but they do get to replay both of these right away. That's a little annoying. If I can get some more card draw, I can get back both Snackers. Like Thoughtcast would be a good one. Hey, very nice. There it is. Bring these guys back. Another Snacker. All right, I'm going to play a 4th Snacker, and we have Thoughtcast to bring them back. I probably need to just chump the Enforcer, trade with the Refurb, in case they get like a Galvanic. I want to not go down to 4 or less, is my thought process. Please no Spell Bomb. Yep, definitely hoping for no Spell Bomb. They swing with everything. So yeah, I could double block here, but then we die to, like, block, die to Galvanic. If I double block the Mirror Enforcer, we also die to Galvanic. And with a million Snackers, Cryogen Relic, I just don't think I need to kill the Mirror Enforcer right now, so I think we do this for the safest play. No Spell Bomb. We get an island. Thoughtcast to bring them both back. A null is okay. So if they attack with both of these again, I kind of want to double block the Mirror Enforcer, but that does let me die to the Galvanic. So I could Cryogen this, which I don't love because then I'm losing one of my potential card draws to get these guys back, but I think it might be the right play. Also just seeing another card. We only have 4 artifacts, so this actually taps us out of a null. That's pretty annoying. If I hadn't played that island, then I could have played the seat. Even if it gets destroyed, I could have played the Mirror Enforcer with a null up. No, because then I would have had to use this blue for the cryogen. Then I would have had to play this, and then they could blow it up, so I wouldn't hold up the blue. So I don't think I made a mistake there. Mirror Enforcer's good, but I don't think I want to tap out of a null, so I won't. I'll just attack for 2, since they only have 1 attacker here. Pass. They Gorilla Shaman their own Wellspring. Okay. They attack. No? Okay. I'm not sure if they just want to clear a blocker, if they think this guy's come to the end of its use. Any of that's fair. I'm happy with the trade. Maybe they got another Blood Fountain to bring them both back. Alright. Refurb. Let's play that. Discard a land. Here's an Enforcer. And we do die to 2 Galvanic Blasts at any time. So I think since we have 2 blockers here and a null, we just attack. Try to race now. A null, I probably need to save for like a munitions or maybe a refurb, like something. I mean, a refurb, I'm going to lose it anyway, so I might as well. But I don't know if I don't think I'm going to send it off on just like a Wellspring at this point. We do have 12 damage here, so if they have nothing, we find a removal spell, that could just be lethal. They have a Krark. Okay. Wasn't sure they would have left those in, but that just blocks here, or maybe gains them some life if they have a toxin. Pactdoll Terror gains us 1 life, but then if they have a toxin analysis, I'm just kind of throwing it away. I think we'll leave back a snacker. I don't want to even a 1 mana or 1 damage Krark to get in, because that could just be lethal with a Galvanic. I think we just attack for 6 in the air. I mean, if they have toxin, they're killing their own Mirror Enforcer, so this might just be for like a Fanatical Offering or something. If they have a toxin, they're going up to 9 anyway, so if we don't have lethal in the air, I think we play the Pactdoll. I just don't see a lot of downside, even if it does get swept up in like the Krark clan killing everything. We still just gain a life, which isn't going to save us against Galvanics, but it could save us against like a Makeshift, depending on the mana they have. Although I have an annul for Makeshift, but maybe now I won't need to use it on that if I can for sure kill them this turn. Although I guess munitions kind of wipes all of our flyers, so that's bad. They're thinking it over, trying to figure out how to not die, because we have 8 damage in the air, so even if they have a Galvanic, that doesn't save them. If they have a Toxin Analysis, that could put them to 9, so I couldn't kill them then. They Reckoner's Bargain the Mirror Enforcer. Okay. They decide they need to do that to gain the life, it seems. Surprised they kept Kirkland Shaman, but maybe they expected the Pactdolls. Yeah, they didn't really see a ton of what we had going on. And often Dimir does play Pactdoll. They do have the Toxin, now at least. Often Dimir does play Pactdoll, so that might be a reason. Yeah. I'm a little surprised, but it could also just be like they kept a 1 of just in case, and I don't think that's unreasonable either. But they didn't see as much of our deck as they might sometimes, so they also didn't know exactly what we were playing. All right, well, they have 3 cards in hand and a clue token, 15 life, but that's still only a 2-turn clock for us. Not too bad. A null is going to hit any munitions, probably any flyer. Well, it's not a 1 of. But there's another card. Another Pactdoll is decent. I mean, if they have another Toxin, it's not great, but still, it gains us a life and blocks the Krark. Ping them for 1, and they crack a clue. There's a refurb, so I'm going to have to discard this, so I might as well just annul that. If they have something pretty devastating after it, it's kind of rough. I'm trying to think what that would be, though. All right. We win the game. I guess their refurb could have blocked, and maybe they had 1 removal spell for one of those guys, but without the refurb, 1 removal spell doesn't save them. So knowing that there's the Gorilla Shaman, I do think more Blue Blasts are warranted. I still don't think I need 4 of them. Spellbomb's still pretty good. Maybe cut like a couple Duresses. I like Duress, but if I already have this many 1-drop counter spells, maybe I just don't need them as much. Can't take out a whole bunch of cards from our main game plan either. Another 1-lander with colorless mana. This one's decent. This is enough artifacts to get out the Enforcer. I kind of just want to get rid of the Cast Down. We do just die to a Gorilla Shaman, but I can't do much about that. I don't think keeping a Cast Down matters much, because if they get a Gorilla Shaman, they're probably going to just hold it until they can blow up our lands anyway. Oops, I don't want to get rid of that one. So I think we're just going to get rid of this and hope for no Gorilla Shaman. Well, I could steal Sabotage to counter their first thing, or I could like bounce a bridge, which helps us survive against the Gorilla Shaman, like delay it a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only called the luck for the last game. Yeah, come on, man. Come on. We need luck for every game. Alright, we're just going to go for the Blood Fountain here. I guess I'll forgive you this one time. There's a Wellspring. So I could have countered that, but I think we'll just hold it for more stuff later. Ooh, good Thoughtcast. We're trying to put artifacts on the field for the Enforcer, and we might not be able to get something that we can use. I'm just going to Relic. I mean, this is the turn that if they have a Gorilla Shaman, they could just play it, play a land, blow up both our lands, and we'll probably just lose. I mean, Seat for Thoughtcast is decent, because we could at least draw 2, but they don't have it this turn. They have a Thoughtcast of their own. If I get a blue blast, I'll certainly hold that up so that that doesn't happen. We get a Mistfall Bridge. I want to play that, so if they do ever get the Shaman, I at least have a land that's not going to get blown up. Kind of want to play the Relic, but then I'm tapped out. I think I'd rather play a Dimir Enforcer for 1 mana, and then I can hold up Steel Sabotage, countering, you know, probably a Refurb or something like that. Blood Fountain, etc. Yeah, we'll go for the Refurb. Turn their 2-for-1 into a 1-for-1, I think is decent. If they want to blast that, that's fine. Okay, so I'll discard the land and hope we don't need it later. They got another Thoughtcast, Vault, and another Refurb. Ugh, every single time. One Refurb, it's like, I guess I can discard something. The second one is like so brutal. I think I just want the burst card draw of the Thoughtcast now, rather than the 2 cards with the Relic for a lot more mana. Cast down is decent. Let's just Thoughtcast. I could cast this down and like attack. That doesn't do a lot. I think we'll just Thoughtcast again. Try to hit lands and things. No land. I guess we did get some things. I'll attack for 4. I can't block the Refurbs anyway, so they're already going to have some decent damage on us. I'm fine to trade the Dimir Enforcer here or on their attack. If they like Galvanic Blast this first and then attack for 4, that's just the same as if they Galvanic Dust in the face, so not a big difference. They do go for the block. We also have 2 Blood Fountains on the field, which means if they're willing to put our Dimir Enforcer in the graveyard, they might have a Spell Bomb or something. They go for a 3rd Thoughtcast. And there's the Gorilla Shaman. So I'm going to lose 2 lands here. I mean, I was drawing cards to try to find a blue blast, but we could not find it. Attack for 4. Island. Attack. I guess I'm going to cast down the Gorilla Shaman so that they can't blow up everything. They can get 1 blood token here, but I need to keep some of my stuff around. Plus, we're going to need to get rid of it at some point if we want lands, probably. Reckoner's Bargain the Wellspring. Swing for 4. Pactdoll Terror. We'll swing at them. I'm going to bargain the Relic to try to draw more lands and creatures and stuff. We do get a bridge. Galvanic the Enforcer for 4. We get a Spell Bomb. I think I want to just bargain away this blood token, though. Not hitting those lands. I could hold up a Steel Sabotage, but they're clearly not playing much else. They have 5 cards in hand and they're not playing a bunch of artifacts or anything. So I'm just going to run this out. Now they have a Spell Bomb. Crack it to exile our graveyard. We get our Blue Blast. A little late. I'll play a Snacker and hold up our counter spells. They're going to just try to counterspell. Well, I need to just not die right now by having a blocker for one of these, so I'm going to try to keep it around. Another Refurb. I mean, I think the Steel Sabotage is not doing much. Maybe the Pactdoll, if we stay alive, can do something here. We'll block. There's a Relic. I think we got to draw, and if we draw like untapped land and a Snacker, we can survive for a turn, or just a Refurb. Dimir Enforcer does not keep us alive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could have also played the Relic. If I drew the land there, then I could have tapped one of these down. That could have been decent. Oh look, we got 2 Dimir Enforcers. That's great. Right when we're dying. Alright, we got a little unlucky, but they also just had the right sideboard cards that we didn't have access to because we're playing only 2 colors. So that's okay. It happens. 1 lander again. Yeah, we definitely need at least 19, maybe 20. Like, since you're only playing 2 colors, there's an argument that, oh, you don't need as many lands. Maybe that's true, but definitely not as much. Not enough to warrant this few lands, I don't think. We'll get rid of 1 Abjure. We're against Terror. Kenku's pretty good against Terror. If it resolves and they're only playing Demon Inferiors, they have no way to get rid of the land. If they do have Sleep of the Dead, which they probably will, then that could tap it at the very least. Hard Evidence, if they want to counter this, that's fine. If not, it'll allow our Abjure to turn online. They Brainstorm. Delver of Secrets again. They did set up their top decks with the Brainstorm, so that's almost definitely to flip next turn. Citadel. So I probably want to wait until next turn to Kenku when I can have Abjure. So let's Blood Fountain. Now, of course, if I Abjure, it's going to mean I don't have the... if I have to Abjure, I won't actually have the land untapped. So if I take 6 here, I'll mental note, maybe they won't definitively flip. They mill a Brainstorm and a Deep Analysis. If I take 6 here and then next turn I Kenku and I have to tap the land, I take another 6. Maybe I'm just dead the following turn anyway. They reveal a Force Spike. Well, that's going to be annoying, because if I do Kenku and they have a counterspell, then I know the Abjure is going to get force spiked. If they have another counterspell, that is. They ponder. I also just have a terror here. I think we got to try to counter that. We're not going to get force spiked, but we could get spell pierced, dispelled. Yep, dispel means that they still have force spike up. So we'll play this. If they want to force spike us, then we have to tap the land, which is not a terrible play from them. Yep, we do have a chump blocker for the terror, assuming they don't have a way to get rid of it. And then block here, but then even Pactdoll's not going to save us next turn, because we're going to be at 2. Plus, I can't play Pactdoll with the Darksteel unless we get a land here. Hard Evidence blocks here. This blocks here, but then we just die to the Aberration. So, yep, we're going to lose that one. Duress, more Spell Bombs. What do we cut? I mean, I guess Pactdoll's pretty slow. Does not seem like the best. Luck incoming, all right. I'm counting on it. Blood Fountain's slow, but it can turbo these out. We want the counter spells, the removal, spell bombs. I guess just some card draw. I think bargains could be decent if we gain 7 off of them. Well, it's too many lands this time, but I think we're just going to keep it. They have a Delver again. Play a Cryogen while they're tapped out. Refurb is decent. They flip on an Annul. That's annoying. I'm going to play a Cryogen and see if that can bait the Annul so I can get like a Refurb down. You could just have another one or a Force Spike, but no, they don't. Nice. Deep Analysis. Mental Note. 4 spells in their grave. Flash it back. Hard Evidence. Just play a Relic, and I don't care if Hard Evidence gets Force Spiked that much, but I'd like to get this bridge down. Let's pass here. Thought Scour that puts him at 5 spells in the grave. Ponder is the 6th. It's going to be 2 mana terrors. Now 1 mana terrors. And they got 2 of them. I could use some Mere Enforcers. Crack a Clue. Play around Force Spike. I'm going to bargain a Crab here probably. I'd rather use bargain on something that gains us life, but I'm not going to throw the Familiar in front when it's blocking the Aberration right now. There's an Enforcer and a Murmuring Mystic. We do have cast downs, but only a couple. Cast an Enforcer. I'm going to crack a Relic on a Terror, pay for the ward to stun it. We just, of course, after drawing way too few lands for basically every other game, we're drawing way too many. Play a Blood Fountain, play a Bridge, play Thought Scour, and Lorien Revealed, restock their hand. I will trade 2 of these for this Terror. I guess now they're attacking with this, but we have the Blood Fountain to bring these back, so I think killing a Terror is worth it here. And our 10th land, crack the Blood Fountain, play the Refurb. That gets annulled. Forcer, crack a Cryogen on the Aberration, I guess. Spell Bomb, right when we needed it. We have to chump block. Take 4, and we're definitely dead. There's no way we can get out of this, unfortunately. So we're 1-3. Let's see if we can get a 2-3 at the very least. But definitely going to be adding a couple more lands. And I don't know. We'll mess around with the deck tech after this match. How's the day going? Pretty good. Just spent the morning editing a couple more videos going up in the next week. So I put up a video every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday, in addition to the VODs that I put up. And so I already had a video for Friday. Now I have a video for Sunday and Tuesday, all set to go. Been playing some cool different decks that I've been enjoying. Played a really interesting version of Black Sack that is going to go up next Tuesday, I think. So make sure to tune in for that. But yeah, spent the morning doing that and then streaming here now. How's the day going for you? For everybody else in the chat. Oh, and I missed your, well, at least you're playing well. Yeah, I'm playing all right. That is a plus. Double Darksteel. I will also say I just kind of hate Darksteel Citadel for this exact reason. So it's unfortunately kind of a necessary evil. I guess I did see someone playing some Compasses and Prophetic Prisms in this deck. Now I thought, well, it's a Dimir deck. 2 colors, why do you really need that? But I guess it's because you have these colorless lands. The sand looks reasonable. Get rid of Abjure. Ponder. The snow-covered island. I'll play a bridge. They're on Is It. Well, chances of me getting spell pierced here are decently high, and to be honest, I have a lot of lands, so I'm going to be able to play around Spell Pierce pretty easily, so I don't think there's a reason to give that any power. I'll just play the 2 mana Refurb here. I don't need it to be 1 mana, so I think this is fine. They Brainstorm first, get rid of a Breath Weapon. An ad came up right when you started to answer, but I hope it's been good. Yeah, I apologize for that. Apparently, there's some way you can like set when the ads go off, but I haven't been able to figure that out because I'm kind of inept when it comes to a lot of this Twitch stuff. But I said I was good. I spent the morning editing videos for the next week or so. Play a Blood Fountain now. If they want to counter that, then I can Spell Bomb and exile their graveyard. I could just Snacker, and since they're going to be playing terrors. They're not like a terror deck because they don't specifically fill the graveyard up for that reason, but I think it's still worth keeping the terrors off the field when we're kind of so far behind with everything else we have. I only have 3 cards left. Hard Evidence. See, these Darksteel Citadels, even now on turn 4, are being really annoying because all of these are pips, so I can't actually use the Citadel for anything other than this Clue token. I think I'd rather just try to get the flyers for some damage going, though. I guess playing both of these, if they have another Breath Weapon, isn't great there. They counter this, but I'd still get the value from the familiar, plus the Snacker would come back, so it wouldn't be the end of the world. There's a Mystic. I have Cast Down. Please draw me one. That's not a Cast Down. Clue token. That is not a Cast Down either. I mean, we refurb, put them to 1 card in hand, but then our creatures are 2/1 flyers that just die to their birds. They discard a Breath Weapon also, so their last card has to be pretty good. Honestly, it could have been that. Just a Preordain with the Mystic is quite strong. Excited for the new vids? No worries, ads are revenue, I assume. Yes, indeed. I certainly would not be having any ads on the channel if it was not beneficial to me in some way. Like everyone, of course, I think ads are super annoying, but unfortunately it's sometimes just what you gotta do. I guess I attack here, they play like a Brainstorm, and then I can eat both of these guys, but maybe in response I can cast down the Mystic, and then we're in an okay spot. Or they just trade this here. I'm gonna cast this down. I could do it in their upkeep, which is generally smarter, but I'd like to crack this Clue and see if I get something like a Refurb or whatever to play. They just cycle a Lorien, okay? So they did not have a way to keep it alive, that's good. Crack a Clue, and we have an Abjure. That's pretty good if they had like 2 Loriens and they're about to slam the other one, for example. I will certainly counter that with a Crab. If I had any way to draw 2, I would do it with the Snacker, but generally Crabs are not going to be that amazing in this matchup anyway. Eventually, if they get a Terror, they'll block that, but Snacker's definitely better here to be on the field. And we get a Refurb. Nah, you deserve to be compensated for your work. You do a really good job. I really appreciate that. I am trying my very best, and currently it is where all of my effort is going, so I am trying to make it as good as possible, and certainly, you know, it's nice to get a teeny tiny amount of compensation for that, but certainly the ads are not giving as much as they could. Not to complain about it. All right, we do win that game, which is nice. We are 1-0. We get more Spell Bombs, maybe. Duresses. Blue Blasts are decent, especially because they might have Red Blasts and Cast into the Fires. O3 sent the message. Yeah, they were thinking about holding on, but I attacked with the O3 and they really could not handle that, and I understand. They're probably going to have Cast in the Fires, so Kenku gets bad, not to mention counterspells. I guess this is one where Abjure is okay. I'm not really an Abjure fan, to be honest. I think we're going to play another league with this and tune up the deck a little bit, and I'm probably going to just cut Abjure. I know people were liking it a lot, but I'm not a big fan. But it still seems okay here because they have Loriens. Being able to fight on the stack at all is nice, etc. Yeah, maybe 2. I mean, 2 spell bombs is probably plenty, since their only graveyard stuff is terrors, which are relevant, but it's not everything. Especially if we're bringing in Duress and want some Blue Blasts. I guess we could go down some of these, because I don't know what else to cut. We're not cutting Cast Down. Terror is not great because they have a lot of blockers for it with Mystic, Terror, and even like Crimson Fleet Commodore blocks and trades. Maybe like one of those and like 2 of each of these. Sure. All right, pretty reasonable opening hand, except if they Gorilla Shaman us. But otherwise, we could Hard Evidence. I could Hard Evidence now, and the next turn I could Blood Fountain, hold up Blue Blast, and then the following turn maybe I like Bargain if I don't hit my land. I think that seems okay. If I just want to go throw Caution to the Wind, I would probably do Blood Fountain into Cryogen into whatever, but if I want to hold up counterspells, I think this is better. They're holding up counterspells, so do I even want to play the Blood Fountain? Because I don't want to fight over it. I think I'd rather just hold up a Clue or a Bargain here. And if they Brainstorm, that's fine. And Ponder. I think we'll just crack a Clue to play around Counterspell or like Spell Pierce or whatever. If they have a Cast in the Fire and they do it when I tap out for this, then, you know, they get me pretty good, but I don't think I want to waste that mana there. Find our bridge. So if they have an Annul for this Blood Fountain, maybe that's not the worst thing ever. I think we'll just pass. They didn't have the Cast in the Fire, so I'm going to assume that I can hold the Blue Blast up for if they want to. If I tap out, they could like Crimson Fleet Commodore, which would be really bad. If they don't do anything of value, then I'll just bargain the crab, or actually probably offering it. And if they counter that, then I can at least get something else down. They do have the Spell Pierce, that's fine. We have a Spell Bomb, they have 5 spells in their grave. So I could Spell Bomb plus hold up Blue Blast again. And we don't currently have a hand that can fight off terrors, so I think we should do that. If they annul this, then I can't do anything about that. But this also draws us a card, maybe hits our land. But if I had a hand with like cast downs and stuff, maybe it wouldn't be as big of a deal for them to get terrors, but I do not. And so 1 terror is pretty bad. Now, if they do like Crimson Fleet Commodore with a counterspell backup, that's pretty bad. Cast of the Fire, I am going to counter that. I assume they can counter this with another Spell Pierce. So I'm at 2 lands, but we get a seat. So I'm going to Blood Fountain. That doesn't even hold priority, so it doesn't look like they have an annul. Nice. So we get a relic down. We're tapped out now, but we didn't have any interaction anyway, so if they get the Monarch, there it is. That's pretty annoying. Snacker is decent. Once again, I can discard the Snacker with the Blood token to try to find more things. Blue Blast is decent, although this is already on the field. I think we're just going to bargain to draw as many as possible here. We get our Snacker back, hopefully hit a land drop. We do, but it doesn't allow us to play any of our blue spells, but at least we have an attacker here to threaten this. They can probably kill it with a bolt or whatever, but then we can at least back. They also have a Mystic. This deck feels like it needs more removal, too. I have just 3 cast downs and 3 abjures, so maybe some more removal would be good. So I attack with the Snacker. They probably have a way to make a guy, but that's fine. I can just bring it back with a Thought Cast. Yeah, we might as well force them to use something here. They go for a Scred. So I could Reckoner's Bargain it. It comes right back, about the same as a Thought Cast, but we use up a sacrifice target that we're already going to be losing. But it's 2 mana to do that. Whereas I might want to hold up some more mana. I think it's fine. We'll let that one go. Thought Cast to bring it back. Get a Vault, get a Spell Bomb. So, yeah, I guess we'll just Vault, Spell Bomb, play an Enforcer, and hold up Blue Blast and Bargain. There's a Ponder. They swing. I will just trade for the Commodore. I can get this back. I could Blue Blast it, but I think I'd rather save this for other interaction. And I could bargain something here, which is more mana efficient, but I don't want to use it on the Blood Fountain. Use it on the Spell Bomb. They only have 4 cards in their graveyard. Terror isn't the biggest concern at the moment. Plus maybe it taps them out a little bit. I mean, Terror is not the biggest concern, but it's still pretty bad. Yeah, I think we still just Spellbomb them here regularly. I guess I could, if I want to be really greedy, I could bargain the Snacker here. It would be my 3rd card drawn if the Snacker, if it resolves, but if they have any counterspell, I also just lose my attacker, although my attacker doesn't really matter that much. And I'm going to just draw 3 on my turn. So yeah, actually I might as well sack the Snacker. I should have probably done this first, because then if they counter it, I could have gotten 1 more card out of their graveyard, but that's fine. A cast down that resolves on this would change things dramatically, I think. Let's Thought Cast, bring back the Snacker, and play an island, play a Refurb. Now I could Cryogen, or I could just like hold up Blood Fountain, which can get back Mirror Enforcer, just a Mirror Enforcer currently. Cycle a Lorien, and I assume discard that Fjord. Yup. Could also just play a Pactdoll, but then I'm not holding up Blue Blast, which seems ill-advised. Let's just play the Relic. We're still looking for that cast down. There it is. Am I willing to cast it into a Spell Pierce here? Let's see. They've used 1 counterspell. They've already used 2 Spell Pierces and only 1 counterspell, so I think the chance they have another Spell Pierce is low. Maybe a Dispel. The chance they have an actual counterspell is higher, so I don't think I want to wait. I think I'm just going to go for it, and we'll see if we regret it. They bolt in response to get their bird. That's fine. They still have the Monarch. They have 4 birds, but only 3 cards in hand. Well, until they play this Lorien. But we can Pactdoll to survive the onslaught. They're probably going to attack with like 2 of these. Leave a couple back to block. Yep, 2 is exactly right. Draw from the Monarch. Enforcer's decent. I might as well get through the birds while we can. So I'll attack, then I'll Thought Cast to bring it back. And Pactdoll Terror, hold up a blue for the Blue Blast. They have a Brainstorm. I thought annul for a second, but no. Which is nice, because now we get to put down Darksteel and Mirror Enforcer, ping them for 2 more, hold up Blue Blast for like a Cast of the Fire or something. And obviously holding up Thought Cast and stuff for the Sneaky Snacker on a future turn. Another Mystic. Well, that is annoying. Now they have a Scred for the Terror. I will counter that. Nothing else to do. They let that go. Play a Terror. Okay, not the worst at this point. We have Terrors too. And they find another Scred. so they still kill off the terror. Refurb. Well, let's keep attacking through these birds. Another thought cast. Bring it back. Here's another Pactdoll. Oop. I'd already resolved. I'd auto-resolved those triggers, so I meant to press 1 to pass through it, but it had already gone through, so I meant to obviously play Seat and then Refurb and then maybe even a Cryogen, and I accidentally passed through all of that, so that's pretty annoying. Another terror. Hello. How's it going? What is up? I don't think I can really afford to take this hit, so I'm just going to double block and hope they don't have another Scred, since we've already seen 3 of them, and they don't. Of course, we could have gotten a couple more pings off that Pactdoll. Here's a Brainstorm. Let's play a Cryogen, see what we draw, or not at all. On a null. Hello, Ben and Argor. How's it going? I guess I'm going to crack this to keep one of these birds tapped. We're just getting lands now. Refurb. I have another counterspell for that. All right, we're not coming back from this one, unfortunately. There was a moment where maybe we could have. It was not that one. Let's just send it back. 2 lands, cast down Spellbomb. Alright, looks decent. Play Mistwall Bridge. I kind of want to play this Spellbomb, because then if we whiff on lands, I can Thoughtcast next turn for 2 mana. I think it's pretty bad if we don't, but I don't really want this to get Spell Pierced or annulled, so I just have to hope. And it worked. We have 2 cast downs this time, so hopefully we won't get steamrolled by a Mystic, but you never know. Seat is a very good draw. Now we can Thoughtcast for 1. Cool list. Yeah, I think it's alright. I kind of threw it together myself. I couldn't find an exact list that I was wanting to play, and it's doing okay. I picked the number of lands based on a list that I had seen, which is 18, which is just too few. It's not really working as we want it to. I think I'm just going to Thoughtcast again here. Ooh, nice pickup for the Refurb. Now they have the Annul, but they didn't use it on the Spellbomb. That's fine. But yeah, we're gonna tune up the list a little bit more and probably try to do another league. But they ponder. Playing Esper Gates tonight? Hell yeah. You'll have to let me know how it goes in the next stream. Well, I guess we're just passing with Spellbomb and some card draw up. And cast down. They cast into the fire. Well, it's annoying that we lose a land, but it's nice of them to do that when we have mana to draw 2 off of it. What's tonight? Weekly Showdown at the LGS. Yeah. I finally get to play some more Paper Pauper on. Of course, they once again have this when I don't have anything. Saturday, I get to play some more Pauper. I would like to hit my land drops, and I already have another Spellbomb in hand, so I'll crack this, even though it does make it so my Mirror Enforcer is a little more expensive. Duress is okay. No lands to speak of. I could just Spellbomb and Mirror Enforcer. The chances the Mirror Enforcer dies are pretty high while I'm tapped out. I think I gotta just bargain the map here. Do it a Blast and a Duress. Well, we still have the Duress. We had a land. So let's Duress them, see what's going on. Counterspell, Pyro, Lightning Bolt, Scred. So we take the Counterspell. We have a cast down for the Mystic if they go for that. And Scred's gonna get through our creatures, so I think we just Blue Blast this guy while we can, because if I don't, then they can protect it with the Pyroblast. They can kill my blockers, and that one guy could just kill us. Ben always taking all my luck. They have a Fjord. If they want to just tap out for a Mystic, I'd be very happy with that. Unfortunately, they decide not to. We get a Seat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can play a Terror, then a Seat. If they don't kill it right away with a Scred, then I could like Spellbomb and Enforcer. Chances are they probably do, but I still get a couple pings off from that. I think it's probably worth. I guess actually maybe I could just... All right, we're going to yield to this and not forget that we did that. Oh yeah, they can just kill it before I even get to play the first one here. That's annoying. We're still gonna just play these out. Yeah, maybe I should have just played the Enforcer, and then when they try to kill it, I have a bargain for it. Might have been better. Now they have a Mystic, and they're gonna have 2 cards we don't know about. Hopefully not counterspells. We do have 2 cast downs though. Let's try to kill this. There's a counterspell. Cast down again. Now we'll Mirror Enforcer. If they have a removal spell, then I have a bargain for it. And they're just gonna pass. Okay. So if I attack, they block, then they can bolt the Mirror Enforcer, which will kill it. And since I want attackers for this, I think we just Duress first. If they have like a Scred in response, that's kind of annoying. Maybe they'll just bolt it in response, so I can't attack this turn. That's also fine. All right, we find a Null. Spell Pierce we can play around. A Null prevents this Pactdoll from coming down. Lorien draws more cards, but I think we have to deal with that. So could just be Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt or Annul is what it is. Because if I take the Annul, Then I attack, they bolt. I could bargain, but then we don't have the mana to play the terror. So maybe I just don't attack this turn. Then next turn I can Pactdoll. Or this turn I Pactdoll. If I take the bolt, the next turn I can attack with both and have the bargain up. I think that might be the play. Bolt doesn't fully kill anything, but it still seems better than the rest. 1, 2, 3, 4 spells in their graveyard. Wait, I took the bolt, but I meant to... I was talking myself in circles. I think I meant to take the annul, because now they can annul the Pactdoll. That's not what I want. Well, now that I took the bolt, I can attack with this. Yep. I think my other play would have been way better, and I just talked myself in circles. But anyway, we are going to spellbomb them so they can't get a terror down. We're going to do it in their upkeep or draw step. Doesn't really matter at this point, but before they can cast a terror is the important part. Blue Blast is even less relevant now that I took that bolt. There's a Lorien. Although then again, if they find a Scred, it'd be good to have. It will be good to have. They do find the Scred. Gonna counter that. They have a Spell Pierce that can't get this. If I take the Monarch, things are pretty decent. Alright, despite my misplay, we take the Monarch. We can't play the Pactdoll because of the annul, though. Maybe next turn with the Duress. Cycle a Lorien, play the island, and Azura Fleet Admiral. Okay, they get the Monarch back. I think we just bargain a Citadel here. I kind of just need to draw something. Not bad cards at all. Start with the Duress, and we have Lorien, Annul, Pyroblast, Spell Pierce. So, and a Mystic and a Terror. If I take Annul, I can get down the Pactdoll Terror, but they can Pyroblast the Thoughtcast, although I'll probably snack her first. If they Pyroblast that, that's fine. If they're going to chump, because then a Terror can block. Might just need to be Lorien revealed. Then Terror doesn't ever come down again. That's probably fine. Lorien after a Mystic's really bad. Yeah, I think it's going to be Lorien. We're going to swing. They do chump. I'll play a snacker, and they have counter spells for both of these, so I'll just pass. Hard choice. Yeah. Not sure that was the right one. It just felt like if they, in addition to Monarch, have a Lorien revealed, I'm never going to be able to run him out of spells. But Mystic is just pretty good, especially because we've already gone through 2 cast downs. I have a Cryogen that also gets Pyroblasted or annulled. I mean, I'll attack first. This forces them to cast something to block the Snacker. Pyroblast the Snacker, fair enough. I'll still just attack. They might fear blocking with the Mystic. Maybe not. Okay, well, Thoughtcast might resolve. We don't know that they have a way to counter it. They just have a counter spell. That would do it. I guess Pactdoll Terror gets annulled and it lets our Cryogen resolve, but yeah, we're just kind of throwing stuff into the grinder at this point, unfortunately. Mystic is just too strong. There's a Preordain and a Terror. Abjure. There's no way we're coming back from this, unfortunately. So that puts us at 1-4 for that league. Not great, but let's try to improve the deck a little bit. I think we definitely need more lands. I would say, I think 20 lands is probably still reasonable. So let's go with that. I'm not a fan of Abjure, so let's just get rid of it. And if we're getting rid of that, we don't need to play Hard Evidence. More removal was something I was wanting, so let's just throw another cast down into there to start. For lands, do I want a Bajuka Bog? Because we're already at max artifact lands that we can play, unless we're going to play like an off-color bridge, which seems kind of bad. Although then again, we did have Gorilla Shamans coming around, like, would be a reason to have more bridges. But I feel like one of the powers of this deck is that we should have more untapped lands, so let's just do like another island and another swamp. Sneaky Snacker was kind of a necessity to have in this list because of the Abjures. We just needed more blue creatures, so now I don't have to play it. It's still not terrible, but we could take it out if we want. What other cards am I missing that could be good here? We could do like a Gearseeker Serpent. We could do Ethereum Spinner, which combos nicely with the Pactdoll because it's a 4-drop, plus also it makes more guys to trigger the Pactdoll. Plus we have all of these already, so it's a fair amount of cards that trigger it. We could do even more Blood Fountains. Blow these guys. Gearseeker Serpent is also another win con that triggers this. If we do Kenkus, if we have Kenkus, Gearseekers, and Mirror Enforcers, then we could do like Unexpected Fangs. The opponent was Roger Estrada. Yes, I believe so. Unexpected Fangs we could do in like our main deck to help us with red matchups. In which case, if we're playing Terrors, we kind of want more Fanaticals, so maybe we don't have to play the Reckoner's Bargains at that point, or we just get to play a little bit of both, maybe. Let's see what else. This seems decent to me. We could do, like, switch out a couple Citadels or Islands for, like, bridges, because I guess if Pactdoll's a reason, and obviously Affinity is a reason for more artifact lands. Preface with the fact that I'm a trash deck builder, but another Kenku could be decent. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Kenku in Grixis Affinity because I just think it does other things better, but in this Dimir Affinity, I don't hate the idea. I think if we add one here, we have a few too many creatures, so I think we probably need to kind of pick, do we want to get rid of Gear Seekers or Ethereum Spinners or Kenku, so I might not need all of them. Looks like internet might be going out for a second here. Hello, I believe we are back. Ideally, that is the case, and there will be no more interruptions. All right. As I was saying, we were talking about Kenku Artificer. Meat Palace mentioned adding another one. I don't think it's a terrible idea. I think we just need to decide if we want... This is a lot of creatures for win cons. Thoughtcasts are not included in this, but still, even without those, it's a lot. So maybe the spinners aren't necessary. We could do like a one-of spinner kind of a thing. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the idea of... So it's harder for our opponent to target what we're doing. Going with like a variety of things. So like we have a couple Kenkus, couple spinners, couple Pactdolls, and then it's harder for them to decide what to do. We also have snackers here, so this might just be a cut snackers angle. They were working pretty decently with like all our draw effects, to be honest, so I kind of want to keep them. And I guess that attacks them on another axis, right? They want Graveyard Hate for this and Blood Fountain. They want Go Wide Hate for Spinner. They want Exile Artifacts for this. Big removal for these guys. So maybe we do just go... I think if you're going to play Snacker, you should play 4, because they just work so well in multiples. So I think we're playing 4 of those, and maybe we're just dropping like... I think we will just do one Kenku, one Spinner, Gear Seeker. I guess Gear Seeker is basically just a bad Mirror Enforcer most of the time. I kind of want to see how well another Spinner could do. So this could be decent. We have one Fangs. I don't think we need more than that, but like one Fangs on Kenku, Kenku Bridge, obviously. Mirror Enforcer, even Pactdoll's not bad. Snacker can fly, same with Refurb. It's a lot of Blood Fountains, so maybe we're going too hard into the Graveyard Reanimate with these. Like Graveyard Hate hits us a lot, so I could cut down one of these bridges, or Blood Fountains, not bridges, for more card draw. I kind of wanted to fit in some Eviscerator's Insights into here, but I wanted Bargain for some life gain. Maybe we can get away with one of each. I think that's not terrible. Since we have the Fangs for the Bargain, with the Bargain we already have 2 ways to gain life. I guess just 2 is kind of low, but I don't think this is a deck for like Lembas. Maybe Compass, because these Citadels were kind of screwing us over. I did really dislike these Citadels, so maybe I should put in a couple bridges just to replace them with. Don't like more tap lands, but might as well. We'll do like 1 Dross Forge, 1 Silver Bluff. Take out 2 Citadels, I think. This way we can also bluff being Grixis. Not that that makes that big of a difference. I think we'll maybe add another Fangs to the sideboard. And honestly, we just absolutely got steamrolled by red, so maybe we'll throw another Hydro in there too for the Spell Bomb, but then we're gonna get wrecked by like graveyard decks. It's probably fine. There are no graveyard decks that are even relevant, are there? Alright. Well, we'll try this out. It's already almost 4 o'clock where I'm at, so I don't know if I'm not gonna be able to get in a whole league, probably. It might only be a couple of matches here before I have to split, but we will do what we can. 20 lands now, same problem as before. Hello, sweet BB deer. How's it going? No black mana, but I guess we'll give this one a try. Hope to find the black mana. I guess we'll get rid of... Everything seems kind of decent. This Snacker, I guess. Land Grant for a forest. Nothing makes me regret queuing into a league more than going up against Spy Walls right away. Or maybe it's Spy Elves. Totally different with this Priest of Titania. We will pass Grixis Wildfire. We are on Dimir Affinity, actually. We did put in just a couple bridges for more artifact lands, even though we have no red cards in our deck. But Dimir Affinity with Pactdoll Terror, we just made some changes to the list, so now we have Ethereum Sculptor and some other stuff as well. I mean, Spellbomb's decent, but no black mana here is pretty rough. How we snacking? We have we're trying to put it on the we're casting it a lot more than other decks. So we're not entirely trying to discard it, although we can discard it with Blood Fountain. But we have Fanatical Offering, Reckoner's Bargain, Eviscerator's Insight to sacrifice it and bring it right back. We also have 4 Thoughtcasts and 4 Cryogen Relics to bring it back as well. They find a Fiend, Spy, and a Priest. They're going to need to find a Masked Vandal to be able to get rid of this Spellbomb. I've gone wrong somewhere because this is showing a bunch of cards, 7 cards, and they only have 5 in hand. They revealed a Mesmeric Fiend, Spy, and Priest. Previously from their hands, they revealed Lead the Stampede, Priest, which they played, Roost-Seek, Wildling, Troll, and Lead the Stampede. So revealed Lead the Stampede twice. Dude, I'm really tired of Land Grant not showing the proper cards. Sometimes it's just like, oh, it shows a Wildling and a Roost-Seek, which I can get used to, but something is going on here because now I don't know what 2 cards they don't have out of these. Unless I'm making a mistake. It looks like they have 2 more cards than their hand shows right now. Anyway, we get a Seat of the Synod, which is more blue mana. I can play that and then I can Thoughtcast for 1, but that's only really beneficial if I find anything for blue. I would rather find like a black land, which might be a tapped Mistfall Bridge, so I'm just going to Thoughtcast for 2 first. It doesn't end up mattering because we draw cards we can't play regardless. Like, it's hard enough to play around this type of a deck. Like, they cast 1 Lead the Stampede. Okay, so that's one of them. I was getting confused with that. They had cast a Lead the Stampede that they had revealed, so that's one of them. Maybe this other Lead the Stampede isn't supposed to be here. They go for a Roost-Seek, so now this is gone. But I still believe there's a card that was revealed that should not be, right? Because this Priest of Titania is not the same as this one, because they had drawn this one off of the Lead, the stamp, so I don't know. They play a Mesmeric Fiend, not a big deal, because whatever they take doesn't really matter. I guess they probably take like Offering because it draws cards. They could take a Cast Down, but I still have another one. They go for that. I guess if they take 2 Cast Downs with like another Fiend, that can be decent, but don't really know. Like, now they have 4 cards in hand and 4 cards revealed, but they've also drawn a card for this turn that we shouldn't know what it is. So now they lead the Stampede. Timberwatch, there's a Vandal and a Wildling, so next turn they can just Vandal and Spy and we'll lose. They need a creature in their graveyard, but they have a Troll, so I guess I could draw another Spellbomb and maybe we don't lose. So Thoughtcast into Spellbomb would be one of our better draws, plus black mana would be good. Or we just get a Seat of the Synod, we play Mirror Enforcer, they Masked Vandal the Spellbomb away, they play a Spy and we lose. While Arms of Adar can kill their elves, we cut more more spell bombs, so that's annoying. Nothing else does much. Fangs is not needed. Kinku is too slow. We're on the play, and this hand is decent. This swamp is maybe a little annoying since we can't play refurbs as quickly, but maybe it'll also be good against the Vandals if they can't take our lands. Play a Seat and pass. Play an Elves, Snacker. So I probably Relic or Cast Down. I don't really think this is the card to cast down. Snacker is not really relevant, and I can't even refurb. So Relic allows me to draw, hopefully hit lands, which we did, and maybe next turn we can like refurb once or twice. Roost-Seek, gonna pull out a Forest, and there's a Priest of Titania. That's one that I'll probably cast down. Yeah, 2 mana at least is a lot. Hopefully they just like play a couple creatures, only have 2 cards left in hand, and we can take them both with the refurbs. Or they Winding Way. They find a Spy and a Wildling. Cast the Wildling as a Roost-Seek and play a Swamp. We get a Cast Down. I mean, I guess if I tap out or anything, then they could just play a 1-drop, a land, and a Spy. But what else are we going to do? I could double refurb them. I think I'd rather they play more cards out first. I think we're just going to Offering the Relic here. Oh, come on. Our internet's dying again. Well, there's a patch. Magic Online crashed because apparently our internet went out briefly, and now there's a patch that I have to update, which does not seem to be doing anything at the moment. I apologize for the internet issues. I don't really know what's going on. I believe we're back. Magic Online had a patch that now that it crashed, I have to update. Doesn't look like it'll take too long. I would like to try to at least finish this match before potentially ending the stream based on the issues, but we'll see if I get in before I just auto-concede. So I just found your terror vid on YouTube. You said that you were looking for decks to play. Are you still? I always am looking for decks to play. I can't promise when I'll get to it, but the Dimir Affinity list that I'm playing right now was a suggestion from another chatter the other day. So yeah, hit me with your suggestions. Of course, if there's an exact deck list that you would like me to play and want me to do that in a reasonable time frame, you can also do a deck donation on Metafy, and I will get to that quicker, and you can get an exact list. Whereas if you suggest something, who knows if it'll actually happen or if it'll be the list you're wanting. But always open for suggestions. All right, I believe this is back up. We'll see if we can hop back into that same match before we've lost. What were we about to do? We have 2 minutes left. We were about to Fanatical Offering. If this will let me tap anything. We are back in it, but it is frozen, so great experience here. All right. I believe I was about to Offering to dig. We have a seat, and I was going to not cast this down. I think we're just going to play a Snacker. That doesn't seem very good. Let's just Thought Cast and then play a Refurb. Ooh, we find an Arms of Hadar. That could be decent. If they just play more creatures or whatever. Okay. And we will pass to them after they discard a card. They discard a Winding Way. I mean, that's a relevant card. My friend is 18-0 with Jeskai Energy Gates. I think the deck is really undervalued. I think undervalued, I don't know if that's necessarily the right term, because it might just be unknown, because I'm not familiar with the Jeskai Energy Gates deck. But that sounds pretty interesting. Have a look. I don't know if this is exact, but what I remember, Relic and Moxite. Relic and Moxite is a thing that I was trying to make work in Jeskai as well. I wasn't going the Gates route, but I like the sound of that. They just have a Lotus Petal. Are they just going for Spy right here? They are. Oh, because they milled a forest. So if they only have 4 lands, they just win. If not, maybe they're just Hail Marrying. I didn't cast down this Fyndhorn Elves because I thought the chances that they had all this was unlikely. So kind of annoying that they had it all. And I guess they did not have more lands than 4 in their deck. This is what happens every time against Spy. No matter what I do, I think I hedge in a reasonable way. Oh, I'll tap out this one time. And then they have the Lotus Petal in addition to the mana they need. And then we die. What a great game to come back to from the dying there. We will try to get in another match, I suppose, but we'll see if our internet allows that. If it's still functioning. Looked like it was frozen for a second. Okay, looks like I'm dropping frames. Well, let's just try to do something here. This hand looks okay, and we are against more walls. Well, not more, we just played against elves, but probably walls. Spy, maybe just regular walls? I don't know. Tinder wall, I guess swamp pretty much means spy. Wall of Roots, Masked Vandal, take out our land. Anyone else getting huge power spikes from most recent MTGO update? I'm not sure. Well, I guess we will pass. The Wall of Roots. I can discard a Snacker to the Blood Fountain, or Blood Token rather. Winding Way finds another Vandal and a Gatecreeper Vine, Tinder Wall. So yeah, I am taking a look at this list. It looks interesting. It does have one of the issues I had with so we played a Boros Moxite list previously on the channel, and one of the issues it had was that it didn't have enough ways to discard Snacker, and it didn't have enough ways to bring it back either. Or it didn't have enough other cards that it wanted to discard with the Moxites. So this list has 4 Moxite. It does have 2 Hackers, which if they can get in a second time, can loot away the Snackers too. I know that you can gate and just... you can gate for black and then cast the Snackers, but you realistically don't want to do that. And you have 1 Prismatic Strands you can discard too, but it still feels like you're not going to have quite enough cards you want to discard to the Moxite, or quite enough ways to get the Snackers in the bin. Oh, they're also playing red. Is this more of a 6 land with like Chrysalis or something? Because they have a mountain here. There's a Winding Way. They found Avenging Hunter. 2 Hunters plus a Spy. I mean, we're just dead. Sacred Cat is often discarded. Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point, that Sacred Cat's one that you're happy to discard. Fair enough. So probably a decent amount of cards to discard then, with 9 with the Strands. Okay, so then I think that you're probably right. That's probably solved that issue. The other issue then would just be like enough ways to get the Snacker into the bin. 4 Moxite, maybe 2 Hackers. You could cast them with the Gates. Maybe that plays out better than I'm thinking. Gates decks obviously are cool and work, but this also just like, especially if you're like, oh, well, I'll just put a gate on black, then you're kind of 4 colors. You can get a little clunky there. 3 or kind of 4-ish colors with Basilisk Gates is also tough because they're colorless. But yeah, I don't know. The deck looks sweet. It does look interesting for sure. I don't know what I'm supposed to do against this opponent. I don't have any sideboard cards against them because I took out the spell bombs, which was a mistake, I believe. I mean, Duress is bad, but it can hit like a Lead the Stampede or something. Sure, we'll do one of those. This hand's not great for them, for this, but we have our lands. Probably want Modern Age over Moxite. I mean, Modern Age would be good. Obviously, that's a staple in Coggates. And works well with the snackers and stuff. I don't know about over Moxites. Like, I think Moxite can still be good. And also, if you do that, then you're not going to have enough artifacts for the Glint Hawks. But you could, like, Modern Age in addition, or just a couple Modern Ages or something as more ways to discard, maybe over the Hackers. I think that could all be reasonable. Is the latest Esper Cryolist stock now? Lembuses were good. I wouldn't... I mean, when I have a definitive stock list, you will know. I will definitely say, like, this is the list that I think is the best. So I wouldn't necessarily say that. I'm still testing things out with the Esper Cryolist. I move very slowly. I know that the deck's been around for a couple months at this point, and I don't have a specific stock list. I'm sure some other people do. But that's partially because I play a lot of other decks and make videos for other stuff. I will say that I have been, I think, getting closer to a stock list, but I've had a lot of difficulty because the meta's changed quite a bit in the last couple months. Since I started playing the deck, it felt really good at first, and then it's felt less good, so I'm trying to shore up its bad matchups and everything. Spinner doesn't even look good here. I think it's probably better to just play like a Relic here. Yeah, so I don't have a specific stock list yet. I have been enjoying Lembuses, so if you wanted to, throw them in your list, I think that's probably not a bad idea, but I do not have a definitive stock list because a lot of the things that I was liking Compass for a while, and then I kind of stopped liking it. I liked Jilted Awake for a little while, and then I stopped liking it as much. There's a lot of stuff like that I'm just still playing around with. But unfortunately, I don't currently have a stock list. As always, I'm just going to probably tap out here and lose, but maybe not. I'll just go to discard, hold up, cast down, and draw 2, and I'll discard a snack. Probably over the Hacker. He was on Bitter Reunion, but hated it. Yeah, Bitter Reunion is rough because it's not something you can pick up with the Glint Hawk. But yeah, I think Modern Age over Snacker Modern Age over Hacker, rather, could be good. Winding Way. What deck is this? I'm playing a Dimir Affinity list. If you do ! Deck, you'll get a similar deck, but it was the original list I was playing, and now I've tuned it a little bit. Playing something a little different. I'm going to offering this Cryogen Relic to draw a bunch of cards and get our snacker back here. Kind of loving 2 Bauble, 3 Tithing. Okay. I personally feel like I like the 1 of Bauble. I feel like there are a lot of games where I get it and it's not very good. There are a lot of games where I get it and it's incredible. But I'm happy with the 1, and Tithing Blade is similar. It's kind of tough. So I've been going up on cast downs. I've been trying to fit 4 into the deck, and maybe some 3-bin charms as kind of cast downs. But for the repeatable ones, yeah, I'm a little lower on a couple of those. What are we doing here? They have a Mesmeric Fiend, but only 1 black mana, so and also we don't know if they have a spy. Here's a Citadel. I guess I probably should cast down this Battlement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, we should cast this down so that they do not have a whole bunch of extra mana. Bauble Stonks versus Elves for sure. Yeah, no. Every time you play against Elves, White Weenie, Fairies, even Red Rally, Bauble's fantastic. Even a lot of opposing Glint Hawk decks, it's good. But then you play against Terror. Maybe it snipes a Delver. You play against, obviously, any combo deck or whatever, and it's not very good. And that's just how it works. But that's kind of why I like the 1 of. Why is there a Drossforge? That's why I asked. Oh, yeah. Drossforge we're just Dimir Affinity, but I wanted more colored sources. They have the Spy, and we will just die. We didn't draw any spell bombs or anything. Darksteel Citadel being colorless is a real pain in the butt, so I just wanted to have more artifact lands that were black and blue sources is why we have the Drossforge Bridge. No other reason. We have no red spells in the deck. Let's try to play against an opponent that does not have Balustrade Spy in their deck, please. Extra bridges for Kenku. That could be an idea as well. I actually cut a couple of the Darksteel Citadels for the bridges. So it's just the same number. Where is it at? Just the same number as if I was running 4 Citadels, which are indestructible. So, it's just that we just played a league and we were getting screwed over by the colorless mana from the Citadel a little bit. And I figured, we're only playing 4 tap lands. I could probably afford to throw in a couple more tap lands to make sure that we have artifact lands that can produce our colors of mana. That was the rationale behind it. All right, this hand looks decent, so we will keep. They are on Bogles, it looks like, which we don't have counter spells in the main deck for. We don't have... I thought about putting some Tithing Blades in this deck, and we did not. Oh, but our Narlet I can just cast down, if we can find a cast down. So I could play a Snacker, but it can't block, so that doesn't matter. So I think we just want to Thoughtcast to try to draw for a cast down as quickly as possible. They have an Abundant Growth to draw a new card. 4 mana left. They have a Chrysalis. Okay, because this was on red. I guess this is... There was like a Gruul ramp Bogles deck that I had seen going around, so that looks to be what this is probably. So I still can't block this until I get a way to kill it. So like I kind of want to play Spinner here, and then I can start making Spinner things, guys, to block the Chrysalis, but then I'm dying to this. Also, I probably want to refurb their 1 card away now, so it does lose some Spinner value, but I think we'll do this to get rid of their card. Play a Snacker to block the Chrysalis. Skyfisher. I was not expecting that. Okay. I don't really know what's going on then. I mean, Skyfisher is value with the Abundant Growth. I mean, a little bit. It's a draw card, which is something. You get a Fertile Ground. More ramp. Okay. We'll block the Chrysalis. Like I said, still need to find removal for the Narlid. Kenku cannot block it, so I could Spinner and Thoughtcast to make a 1/1 to block. I could just play a Pactdoll Terror, block this, the refurb, and then I'm at least gaining some life off like Spinner and stuff. If I gain 1, 2, 3, then I might be able to survive another hit from a Narlid next turn. I think that's what we do. We're gonna block here. By the way, I love your content. Definitely favorite on YouTube and Twitch. Would love to see Pure Elves challenge. That means a lot to me. I appreciate that you enjoy it, and favorite is very high praise. I will say, I've said before, I'm really not an Elves player. I'm not, I don't really enjoy it that much. So unfortunately, I don't think I'm probably going to be playing Elves at any point. Probably. Unless you want to do a deck donation and force me to play Elves. You know, if you want to give me some money, you can make me play basically any deck you want. So if you really want to see me play Elves, that would be the only way, because otherwise it's not really my cup of tea. Okay, we can Spinner here, gain 1. Thoughtcast makes a guy, gains 1. Bridge gains 1, so we go up to 7, so we don't die to a Narlid unless they get another aura of any kind. Or I could just Thoughtcast, and if I can find a cast down, then we can kill the Narlid, but that seems less likely, so I think we go for this. If you like Elves, you might like Black Sack. Goes wide and tall as well. I mean, that's true. That is a deck that I'm a fan of, obviously. Bring back the Snacker, Bridge. I guess we might as well attack with this, but if they play an Aura, we'll just die. They will block with a Spawn and sacrifice it. No Aura. So maybe we do just survive here, unless they have like a Crew Shock or something. No, we're at 1. Okay, we just need a cast down. Refurb. Let's token away the Snacker. There's a cast down. Let's play a refurb. Make a guy. Gain a life. Gain a life off of this. Make him discard a card. And I mean, I might as well cast this down. Technically, I should do this in their upkeep, but if they have a way to protect it, I can't survive anyway. If they get a Hydra, they could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be 9. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I could survive, but I'd have to not attack with all of these, and that does not seem like a great idea. So if they top deck a Nyxborn Hydra, which I have to just assume is in their deck, then we could just die here by attacking with these. But if not, they have to have 2 removal spells for these guys. They'll block with the Spawn and sacrifice, and we'll pass. Another Chrysalis. Okay, they're swinging. Block with the Thopter. Fanatical Offering. All right, we're gonna Offering the Snacker away. It'll bring them right back. We also get to ping them for 1 here. Darksteel Citadel pings them. Now we just can win if we just don't die. Also, Kenku makes an indestructible 3/3 flyer. Don't think there's a reason to attack. We'll just pass. And we'll see what they got. Armadillo Cloak. I kind of assumed when the Narlid was in here, Armadillo Cloak might be a card they have. Yep. That can keep them alive. It's a 7/8. It can be an 8/9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can block it to kill it, which I will do for sure. This one's not lethal, probably. So again, 9. We're gonna have to block with the Pactdoll, so that's 6 damage, 7 toughness, 6 damage, 9 damage, and then we take a 4 from this. Unless they have a crew shock or something, then we'll die. They didn't before. If I kill this and I still have my bridge, the chances of them beating us are very low, so I think we do just chump here. I guess then I might as well chump the 1/1 in case this extra damage matters. Probably won't. And they're going to go to damage. I'm going to... Oh, this doesn't have haste anymore. Does this only give haste? It doesn't give haste at all. Okay, well, I was going to Eviscerator's Insight the Kenku, but this bridge... or Citadel does not have haste since it's a creature. It just entered. It has Summoning Sickness, so I can't actually tap it for mana. Not the end of the world, but obviously would have been decent. They do gain some life here. Citadel, let's see. I mean, let's just attack for 4. We'll leave the Citadel back. Blood Fountain back probably just another Kenku and a Refurb. Refurb to take their card. Island and Insight a Snacker, which will come right back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. So a Hydra's exactly lethal if they get that here. Heliod's Pilgrim, okay. To find another Armadillo Cloak, or maybe an Ancestral Mask, but that doesn't give trample, so that wouldn't be very good. I mean, Armadillo Cloak, they can put on the Chrysalis to make it as big as a 6/7, but I could then block it with Citadel. I take 3, I go to 2, and then I can just cast it down. That is what they get. I could block the Refurb on it for 1 extra damage, but since I'm not dying either way, I think this is fine. They do grow it, hit us down to 2, gain a bunch of life. We have a cast down though, so I think we'll be okay here. Mirror Enforcer is not free yet. Come on. Play a Spell Bomb, play an Enforcer. Kenku onto this bridge, leave back both bridges, attack with the other guys, and so we just have blockers, and if they do get something crazy, like a Nyxborn, we can just cast it down. Alright, we got that first game. We get a null, I guess, versus them. Unexpected Fangs, I think, racing them. Like, if we get an Narlid that we can't kill, maybe being able to just have, like, lifelink on a bridge or a Mirror Enforcer could be decent. Spell Bomb does not seem relevant. Spinner's decent. Snacker's decent. Maybe just cut an Insight here. I don't know if bringing in a null is even the best thing ever, but it does counter the Armadillo Cloaks, so even like early we can slow their ramp with it, but even late it can still be pretty decent, I think. Alright, game 2 here. Sure, we'll keep this one. It's a little slow and can get wrecked pretty bad by a Deglammer or something, but can't do much about that. Fertile Ground. Could have been good to hold up an annul for that, which I did think about. I figured I just wanted to have like access to my 2-drops here or something. I guess we'll just play a land and now I can hold up the annul, but chances are they probably just play a big guy here. Although if they like Utopia Sprawl, thinking they're going to have a certain amount of mana, annulling it can maybe make it so they can't do anything this turn. Another Fertile Ground. We'll counter that. Just try to slow them down. We do have a cast down for the first scary creature as well. They have nothing else. Decent for us. I'm just gonna cast a Thoughtcast, and I'll Blood Fountain. We missed some triggers from the Pactdoll, but we can get a Mirror Enforcer out quicker this way. They got a Chrysalis, another cast down. I think I'm just gonna cast a Pactdoll here. If only this swamp was an artifact land, then we could also play the Mirror Enforcer, but playing this then seems decent. If they go all in on this Chrysalis with like an Armadillo Cloak or something, then we can just cast it down. Rumble, find a Standard Bearer or a Yavimaya Enchantress, which is basically a bad, or an Narlid. Standard Bearer could make it so I have to kill that first before killing the Chrysalis. They choose the Abundant Growth though. Alright. Draws a card. Let's not forget they have Core Skyfishers in their deck, which they discarded one of last game. Sacking all these guys for another Narlid, 4/4, and they have a Skyfisher. Bounce growth. I will take 5. Another Mirror Enforcer. Alright, well, we're going to Offering a Blood Token. Get a trigger. I was hoping to find a land there so I could play these Enforcers for 1 mana, or 0 mana rather, because I want to also cast down. But I suppose if I just play like a Relic, I can definitely play these Enforcers, and then we have a bunch of blockers, which seems decent. I could have gone for a Fanatical Offering again, but if I don't hit a land, then I just am in a bad spot, whereas this is pretty decent. They have to play 2 auras for the Narlid to be able to get bigger than the Enforcers. I know they have 1, but also I can maybe just like double block a Chrysalis, and that doesn't seem too bad either. Another Skyfisher. Can draw another card with the growth. I feel like I'm surprised they don't have, at least that we have seen, they don't have like ethereal armors either, because that seems good on a Gnarlid. With all the auras, that could be good on a Skyfisher for just a giant flyer. They're going to swing for 2, but we did successfully hold the rest of these back, which is nice. Ooh, I kind of wanted to just draw a bunch of cards here, but I could play another Terror, but I kind of need to hold up a cast down, because if they get this big enough, you could just smack in for way too much. So we are going to draw 3 here and then hold up a cast down probably. Trigger, or we're not hitting lands. I could Thoughtcast to try to hit a land so I can still hold up a cast down. I guess that's what we do. Otherwise, we're just like playing refurbs. Oh, they have a Pyroblast for this? Okay. In which case, I could just play a refurb. I could map onto one of these to try to make them larger in case they get just like another mana ramp aura I could still block. Plus, I could hit a land. Yeah, let's go for that. I don't hate a land or a counter. Ethereum Spinner. That's tough because I want to hit land drops, but also Spinner really combos with Terror. Also, if I play Spinner and then Refurb, then I have blockers for the Skyfishers. It just seems really slow, but I think I'll keep it. Worst case scenario, I can still just like double cast down next turn, and then the following turn I can like Spinner, Refurb if we're getting like low on life or something. Another Skyfisher, okay. A lot of flyers. It's gonna make Spinner better. Play that Abundant Growth again. And they found a Yavimaya Enchantress, which, like I said, just kind of a worse Gnarlid. Take 4, then we get our Spinner. So I think I am just gonna Spinner Refurb. This gives us a bunch of triggers from the Pactdoll, but also it lets us double block a Skyfisher. Also takes one of their only cards. Maybe for that reason I should have just double Refurb to take both of their cards. They discard another Enchantress. I'll pass. They find a Utopia Sprawl, so Gnarlid's a 5/5 finally, as is the Enchantress. They have a Breath Weapon. Well, that's annoying. They swing with basically everybody. Yeah, Breath Weapon means I can't block any of the Skyfishers, but this is taking 2 damage, so I can trade this for this. This is taking 2 damage, so I can trade this Enforcer for this. Keep my Pactdoll, and then the Gnarlid I can just cast down, so I don't really care too much if I don't have blockers for it now. But yeah, Breath Weapon was pretty good there. Another cast down, so I probably should just cast down 2 of these. I could refurb, but I'm just taking damage. So yeah, let's cast this down, attack with the Pactdoll, and then I'm going to hold up the cast down in case they get like an Armadillo Cloak so that I can target the one they enchant. And if they don't enchant any of them, then I'll just cast down any random one. Take 4, but now I'm only taking 4. I have a flyer coming. I have another cast down. I also have Pactdolls, which is gaining me life. There's a Chrysalis. Land. No. Alright, let's play a Refurb. Draws us a card. Gains us a life. There's a land, finally. Map onto the Refurb. See if I can make it trade with the Skyfisher. Snacker. We'll put that into our graveyard for sure. Then I play a land here. Get a trigger. Familiar's going to draw us our 3rd card, so Snacker's going to come back. And we'll just pass with our cast down up. Block here, and I'll double block this Chrysalis. I'm probably just going to cast down the Chrysalis, but this way they have to like sack some of their spawn first. Now I'll cast it down, and we win the match. Very nice for us. I will say not necessarily the best showing. We lost against Spy twice in a row, and then we won against a off-meta deck. I am going to have to call it there because it's getting a little late for me. I apologize for any of the internet issues that we had and whatnot, but I hope everyone enjoyed the stream that we did have. I will say, in conclusion for this deck, probably I just need to tune the list a little bit more or have someone else tune it, but it did not feel great to me. It just felt a little rough, and obviously we're just missing a lot of the benefits of having an extra color like white or red, but it was still interesting, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.